I am Sharon Hurt, and I serve as the Executive Director of the Jefferson Street United Merchants Partnership, Incorporated, which is in Nashville, Tennessee. And this is a merchants association that focuses on the redevelopment and the maintenance and sustainability of the historic business district of Jefferson Street. The community itself was thriving in the 50s and 60s. It was known as one of those cities that the people on the Chitlin Circuit visited. You know, Jimi Hendrix was one of those musicians who made the street famous because he was over in Fort Campbell, and he came over and learned how to play the guitar here, is what I understand. And some of those Nashvillians basically taught him well. We had churches and funeral homes, bowling alleys, the Ritz Theater, and that's where most of the musicians came. All the nightclubs, was about 17 at one time on Jefferson Street. Ike and Tina Turner was here. James Brown, Jackie Wilson performed at the Sufferdale, which was the place for the Negro League Baseball. And Satchel Paige was here, and Buck O'Neill, many of those famous people during that time. It was the place to be. The Civil Rights Movement, of course, took place in the 60s, and it's said that Martin Luther King came here and said he wasn't here to bring inspiration, but he came here to get inspiration, because that was the quality of the people who were here, the Kelly Miller Smiths and all of those wonderful people that made things happen. Along with the interstate coming in was also desegregation. So it was a double blow that came to this community. During that time, it was a community that was thriving with about 65,000 people. And it seems as though every decade we lost about 10,000 people. And so now, I guess for the last 10 years, the number has stayed right about 23,000 people in this community. So you go from 65,000 to 23,000, that's huge. And along with that suffered the businesses along this corridor, because they did not have the population of people to continue to support those businesses. I tell people all the time that we might have been down, but we were not out. And that's why we're on our way back. That's why we're doing some things to make it happen. You know, that's where we come from. I was always concerned with the fact that the Tennessee Titans came here, but none of that money, the gazillion of dollars that they were earning, did not come into this African American community. Yet, I guess more than 60% of the team is African American. So I was like, what are we going to do? We need to get them involved. We need some of that money to come here to help us to revitalize this community, because it's in a renaissance. We know that it can happen. And I'm at home listening to the news, and they said that Eddie George graduated from the Ohio State University with a degree in landscape architect. I'm like, oh my God, this is it. If I can get him to be a part of this project, and I tell Jerry, and Jerry can get us in, and we can see whoever we have to make it happen, and it can. And lo and behold, it happened. You know, that's why I say the dreams do come true in Nashville. And I think it's because of the people who were here, that was in charge, who was in power to make some things happen, coming together at the table and making it happen for all of us. You know, I can probably go from 28th Avenue to 3rd Avenue to say what has inspired me, but one of the things that comes to mind is the Odie Center, which had a huge transformation. This was a corner grocery store that started on Jefferson Street at 18th and Jefferson in 1904. They are now the largest retail strip mall on Jefferson Street, because they invested probably about $5 million of their own personal private money for this establishment. Mr. Odie told me that all of the things that I was doing, the visibility that I was bringing to Jefferson Street, because I wanted to restore the pride in this community. I wanted people to know that no, it's not the way that it's perceived to be, but we're much better than that. I want you to come over here and see it. He told me that the message that I was sending out was something that inspired him and convinced him to invest his money back into this community. And he invested a large amount of money, and it was private money that he invested. The government didn't come in and make it happen for him. We did not have the redevelopment district where he received tax increment financing. This was money that was hard earned over 100 years that he was able to put into this community. What does success look like for me? Success to me for this community is having the white community and the black community coming together, bringing the balance in this wonderful historic community and making it what we know that it was meant to be, where we've got thriving commerce going and where there are tourism all over the place, where we can restore some of those nightclubs and some of the businesses that were here, and everybody of all races, creeds, colors, and everything is here doing exactly what they want to do, feeling free, able to do it with no problem, no issues, but just love being spread all over this community. We're so close to downtown, I let them know we're uptown over here. You see, so we want to make it look that way, and people are believing, they believe that it can happen. When it was, some question and some doubt, right now they believe that it can, and I think people are getting energized and excited about what's happening. And I think if we continue to bring more people outside of this community here to see what wonderful products, goods, and services that are here, the better it will be for us all. I think that Nashville is a wonderful place. It's a big place for African American, and I think that Nashville can make it even bigger. I want everybody to hear my message. Anyone who's interested in the betterment of Jefferson Street needs to hear this message. I want them to spend their money on Jefferson Street. I want them to know that they all can have something to do with the renaissance of Jefferson Street. We can't do it without you. I'd hope that people will take away that it can happen. Whatever it is, the dreams that they have, the desires that they want, it can happen. As long as you continue to have that faith and believe, and you never give up. Don't get distracted. Peter said that he couldn't walk on water, and he walked on water, but as soon as the storms came and the wind was blowing, he got distracted from it. You can't get distracted. You got to stay focused, and whatever it is that you want, you can have it. It can be yours, and you have to believe, and you have to stay. It only takes a small amount. They said the size of a mustard seed is enough for you to know that your dreams can come true and that you can have the desires of your heart.